Good morning, humble practitioners. This is a pair of feet. Not quite accurate, but pretty close. It's hard to see all the bones, and they don't all move, though you can see the ankle is hinged. It is Lynn Shuck, and it's time for your humble practice, except today it won't be a practice. We're going to talk about feet, and we're going to talk about shoes. This is really important. When my kids were little, flip-flops like this white pair here were only allowed to go to the beach or to go to the pool. Now, when they were little, that was because if you're going to run around on a playground, and they would do that at the pool and at the beach, they would run around, you need to have shoes that stay on your feet, and kids' shoes don't stay on their feet if they're flip-flops. There's nothing to that shoe. So I was against it when they were little. Plus, their toes are unprotected. You ride your bike with flip-flops on, and your toes get scraped up on the asphalt way too easily. I had a lot of things against it. As I got older, I got some nice shoes, like those Naots, those red ones back there. Those are a very expensive pair of shoes. They have really good arch support. And yet I started to notice that my feet hurt when I wore them. And I didn't understand why. Well, I want to thank Katie Bowman, who's a biomechanist, because she made it clear, and I'm going to use her little demonstration to show why. Now, I'm kind of proud of myself and my family. I went digging through everybody's closets to find shoes that don't have any kind of attachment on the back of the heel. No strap, no back to the heel. I couldn't find any clogs or slippers that don't have a back, but I found all of these. There's one from each closet. Birkenstocks and Naots, which are really nice. The Nikes are pretty nice, and the really cheap flip-flops too. Everybody has one pair, so I'm pretty proud that we don't have more. But here's why this matters so much and why I talk about this. I get people who come to me with plantar fasciitis, with knee pain, with ankle pain, and they walk in a pair of these, and I tell them you got to get rid of your shoes, and they don't want to hear that. Here's why you got to get rid of the shoes. So these are some of the bones of the foot. I've left a few out, but you'll get the gist. And when they're lined up nicely, right, the toes sort of extend off of the bones of the metatarsal, and then there's the calcaneus, and there's some other bones in there too, and then there's one of the shin bones going up. And so you have some spaces, and there's this length to the foot. When you have to grip to keep the shoe on, one of two things happens. Either your toes start to curl up to hold the shoe on, which forces this bone down, which forces these bones higher, which can start to then rub on your shoes. It will also give people corns on their toes. It also pulls this calcaneus under even further, and the shin bone will respond by tipping forward. This is not a happy looking foot. We've got a lot of pressure hitting the ground here. A lot of pressure hitting the ground here. People get really sore, and we've got this tight, high arch. There's your plantar fasciitis starting to occur. And then you have this really tight front of the shin. The muscles here get pulled tight. The other thing that can happen still does this to the back of the foot, but it could be that your toes point down real hard, and that joint here starts to go up, and you end up getting corns on the top of your knuckles of your toes. You get hammer toes. We still get the calcaneus pulling under. It's not pretty. This is what's happening when you have to hold on to shoes. These bones in your feet, these bones are made to adapt to the surface of the ground, not to grip like crazy and tighten up your foot and realign your bones so that you can hold your shoes on. So this is not just about flip-flops. I really wish I'd had a pair of clogs to show you. Any shoes that don't hold onto the back of the heel, any shoes that don't have a back to the heel, whether it's a strap around the back of the ankle or a complete back to the heel, not a slip-on where there's maybe a 1/4 inch up here, all the way up, those are going to keep your foot aligned. Any shoe without that, you're going to start to work the muscles in the foot in ways they weren't designed. You're going to pull your bones out of alignment, and you're going to have some unhappy feet and legs. And let me tell you something, everything that stacks up here wrong stacks up above wrong. When you get those feet stacked wrong, the whole skeleton gets off. So with that in mind, I urge you to look carefully at your shoes. Pay attention to what you wear. See whether it's worth having them anymore. Sometimes you can adapt a pair into something with a heel, with a back strap. But for the most part, we don't wear them very much. All right, next week, Humble Practice is going to be feet, and we'll actually do a practice. Enjoy!